Welcome to Casino Hood Stories. This is a Chicago hood story that in a connection will kind of remind you a little bit of the situation that 6ix9ine is going through right now. I decided to do this live because it's more fitting to me to be live so you can visualize it a little bit better. I took a poll, and the polls were very close, whether we were going to do it live or do it a video, either or seemed to fit the audience. So I said, why not? Let's get to it. Let's tell them a very ultimate hood story. The names have all been changed so that a lot of people will be very confused with how we tell the story. But you'll understand it. Those who know will know. Those who don't, well, you just won't. Now, this story starts off on the west side of Chicago. And this is in the 90s. Early 90s, about 92, 93 era. There is a new game in town. And this game and sheriff is running this town. And his name is Tuck. Tuck is 6'2", massively built, played football in high school. After high school, no dreams of playing professional or going to collegiate football. He played a linebacker. He was intimidating, devastating. But on the streets, he was just as much as the enforcer as he played. Something to Kobe. Now, Tuck was selling weed all through high school. Didn't listen to college scouts who came to his house, tried to recruit him to play collegiate football. Didn't want to take the assessment test, make his mother proud. He just wanted to be loud in the hood. He loved the West Side. Loved everything it provided for him. Pretty soon, all his other crew graduated from high school, and they just went to the professional game of serving. But first off, they was started off small time, weed dealers, you know, but they excelled into the higher game. By a happen of chance, Tuck saves a girl from getting hit by a car, snatched her out of the road. Girl's about to get hit by a car, he snatched her out of the road, told her, hey, you know, watch where you're going, you know, watch your step, these things, stay on the sidewalks, and it's all good. What they didn't know was that girl went and told her that this guy helped her, saved her from a car and everything. They wanted to see who the guy was, saw that the guy was Tuck, this and that. It's one guy that was controlling what Tuck wanted to get into and go to that level. His name was Javi. Javi was the man if you wanted to have a connection on the west side of Chicago. So by happenstance, Javi was needing someone. He lost a very key client in a barbershop assassination. So Javi needed somebody anyway. And by happenstance, he runs into Tuck, and Tuck ended up saving somebody who was related to him from getting hit by a car. Sounds like a movie, but it actually happened. So Tuck and Javi have a conversation. So Javi was like, you know anything about this? He was like, yeah, I know about it. I moved a little, but I ain't have enough. And I don't get high on my supply. Blah, 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 blah. So he wanted to move coke. So tells him flat out, listen, Javi sets a bag on there and tell him how much he want back from it. And told him, I'm gonna front you this because of what you did. Yeah, boom, slaps it on the table. And he was like, if I get you back what you asking for that, I ain't gonna really make nothing. So, I'm not really make no money off of it. I just basically make enough just to pay you back with this, what you giving me. It's like, this the kind of grade I'm getting, for what you asking for. I can kind of get this somewhere else. No offense. And Javi laughed and was like, I like this dude, man. He's like, that's good. Because you know good it from bad it. This is bad it. So anyway, I was just reading the message that came across. So Javi tells, you know good it from bad it. That's good. That's good. I like that. So he said, no, this is the real stuff. This is what I'm going to have you go. Since you know good it from bad it, give me back this from this. And he was like, okay, yeah, all right. So Javi was really kind of testing him to see if he really knew what he was talking about. So right away, boom, they instantly take off. They become $1 million organization almost immediately. They took over the West Side. The police he's very loud. To be a person to have what he had and the connection he had, he was very loud. And the police was on him. They raided his house 3 times and came up with nothing. He hired a lawyer to sue the police department for harassment. And the police, they got a order to where they couldn't even pull this guy over for a ticket no more. He was gonna sue the police department. Tuck was invincible. Now, hold on. Tuck had a right-hand man. It's always good to have a right-hand man. Tuck's right-hand man was Pee Wee. Pee Wee also from the West Side. An enforcer. Didn't play no games. Gun gang crazy. Nobody crossed Pee Wee. Pee Wee loved putting in work. Pee Wee loved being an enforcer. And he loved that more than doing the business. And as long as his pockets stayed fat and he was the #1 in command, he loved that. Pee Wee played his part. He was an enforcer. Anybody threatening Tuck being loud, they got dealt with. Tuck was ruling at that time. Now, there's another guy on the south side of Chicago. This guy is real nice, real smooth with the ladies, real fly. Everybody called him Slick. They was like, that's Dave. Dave is Slick. His name was David. So they started calling him Slick. Then he went to King David. So they was like, yo, Slick, and everything else, because everything about him was always perfection. Hair lining, had the goatee lined up on his mustache. He was just always debonair, always smooth. So they called him Slick. Then he became King David because of what he was running on the south side. The opposite of Tuck, low key, debonair, wasn't an athlete, was a lover of ladies. He had a girl, had a shorty, had everything he had under his command. His first in command was his cousin. His right-hand man was his cousin. So his cousin and him both built the empire together. His cousin was in on a couple of conversations, but he didn't really want it like that. And his cousin name is Vail. So Vail was known not really for his gun game either. They were more the finesse guys. If they needed a problem solved, they normally would go to somebody else and have them do it so it wouldn't come back to them. They were the smooth guys, the slick people who made their money low key, but when they was time to get loud, they got loud. They were professional about how they handled their business. And they were a multi-million-dollar business, making millions a year from this in the early 90s. Now, the presidential change that happened when President Clinton got into office opened up a lot of opportunities in the drug game. For some reason, there was an influx of drugs that started to come in once the presidential change happened. It was a more influx and more easier for drugs to come through. It was a big push during those times. So it was a higher influx in the 94, 95, 96 era. That in 1996, the drug dealing was the biggest commodity. It was making more money than Dunkin' Donuts and legitimate businesses. They were making scary amount of money in those years. So it was starting to expand from the city limits away out to other cities in the Midwest. Their reach is expanding to various locations. Each side kind of heard about the other, but never really intertwined. They never really left their comfort zones. Two kings, one on the west side, one on the south side, doing their thing. Then came Freaknik 95. Freaknik 95 came around. And when Freaknik 95 came around, everybody's out there wanting to show their brass, and players from Detroit came out there. They was deep, and the Freaknik, and everybody been hearing about it. So during this Freaknik event, Tuck ends up running into King David, and these two ended up talking and pulling out wads of money and talking about, they find out they both from Chicago, and then he finds out you King David, and he finds out, oh, you Tuck. So they starting to have a very good time. Even they number ones are getting along with each other. Everything is love. So he said, hey, you know, this whole weekend we done kicked it out here. We done kicked it like true players. This is how we supposed to do. You know what? We're going to unite. When we get there, man, we'll run the whole city. So when they got home, true to it, Tuck came out south. King David went out west. And situations started to happen where they were hanging out a lot. You know, they were taking trips out, taking their girls out, casino, riverboat in Elgin, spending big money, going to eat, kicking it out there. And something was starting to happen because Tuck started to discuss expanding to Kansas City. Like, we need to expand to Kansas City. We need to expand the game, and we finna start taking it to new heights. So the feds started to get a little smarter. They started new tactics, illegal tactics, coming up with new laws, mob action laws. The mob action law was used for them to just pull over anybody they want at any given time and just blame them for mob action. So once this started happening, first it used to be loitering. If there's a bunch of people outside, you're loitering. They could just come up and run you. So guys are getting busted left and right, little peons. But they were making a big push because some kid had overdosed or died, and it was a big government thing. It was in the newspaper. And then the Yummy Sandifer thing caused the crackdown where police had to start doing their jobs. And when that happened, a lot of people gonna lose money because they shutting the streets down. So ideally, the story changes for a lot of people. Things started to get a little dry in a minute. So Tuck, who knows the value of having not more than one connect. Javi was his guy, but Javi is international. Javi is here 1 minute, then he's out the country. And then he's got to wait. And then, you know, to Javi come back and, you know, things could get hot. And, you know, he's like, look, I got to have another connect. So King David was his, you know, King David had his own connect. And he's like, look, same thing over here. If you need something, and if I come short and you need something, come to me, I got you. You need something, come to me, I got you. So Javi wasn't around when it was hot. Like, I guess he got the word. So Javi was gone for a minute, and he told him, like, I'm gonna be gone. I'll be back when I'm back. So Tuck is stuck a little bit. He got enough to get by, because he got stuff stashed, but he gonna need a new connect. So Javi's out the picture. He go on the south side, and he started collaborating more with King David. So when he was dealing with Slick told him, like, okay, well, you know, here you go. Boom, boom, I'll get you this. 30, 40. You need that, here you go. Boom. And he's like, look, I went to my guy to get this. You know, for you, this is what I'm gonna tax you. This is that. You know, if y'all late, you know, it's business. You know, you'll know the deal. We cool. But business is business. Now we dealing is business. Don't let the friend thing get into that. You know how it is, because you a boss too. So we gonna move like men. And he was like, yo, I got you. I respect that. But now he's spending more time with him. King David is really the connect now for Tuck. And Pee Wee watching this, and he's seeing his right-hand man, who's, you know, now his power is waning, because now Tuck is basically a #1 man to King David. And so where that leaves Pee Wee? Pee Wee was like, okay, I'm still, like, I'm holding it down over here, but now people on the west side is like, man, you know, y'all work for King David. So it's appearing that they're all are working for King David. Like, it's just getting out there. Because Pee Wee's like running his mouth like, man, we all like, and then we gotta go to the south side and get this and that. You know, we working for this dude or what? You know, we going out here now. And so Tuck is starting to lose the union that he had on the west side. It's breaking. Guys is like not liking to want to travel to the south side to do things. And guys start branching off doing things. And so Pee Wee was like, look, I don't know what's happening. We had a thing like a unit, and now he's kind of moving on his own without me. And Slick kind of felt the animosity with Pee Wee one of the times they were there, and he was told, Tuck, you know, your #1 is tripping. You know, like, he got a lot of attitude, got a lot of mouth. You know, he talked real disrespectful, you know, and he's like, man, that's my guy. I handle You know, I got Pee Wee. Don't worry about it. You know what I'm saying? And Val runs stuff even when King David ain't around. A lot of people don't even see King David like that. They will see Val more than they will see him. So Val come around doing everything. Like, we're making runs and doing this and that. Now, Val got a problem now because somebody yelled at his baby moms or whatever, and they know her baby daddy is Val, and he's like, I don't care about your baby daddy. You know, I shoot that dude, blah, blah, blah. So Val's hot. Val catch the guy, pistol whips him himself. And this is not a gun guy at all. And he's the first in command for King David. Now King David lost his right-hand man because dude went to the cops or whatever. Charges is pressed. He got arrested. He going to court for that situation for pistol whipping dude. And now his main guy, his cousin, is gone. So now he needs Tuck more than ever. So he tells Tuck, said, Tuck, look, Val's out the picture right now. I don't have a number 2 I can trust in this position who could do that. You know, I'm going to give you these things and we're going to call it even. I need you to make sure this is going well over here on the south side. Can you let your number 1 run that for a minute to, you know, my guy get back on his feet? And you got these, 30 of these. No, nothing. Them just yours. I need you to do this part for me. He was like, bet. So he started moving. Started doing that for him. He told Pee Wee, look, you're going to be in charge running this. I'm going to have to run on the soft side and make some moves. And he was like, dog, are we working for dude? Like, what's going on? He was like, man, look, we eating. Dog, we eating. Ain't you a man? We good. Everybody else in the drought, we good. But what they not noticing is the game's changing. Javi ain't back when he's supposed to be back. The connect that nobody even know who the connect is on the south side that's really taking care of King David. This guy, why is King David having no shortage? Everybody's like, man, this is crazy. This guy never has a shortage. And Val's locked up. He's got Tuck dealing with him. And just so he happens, he's like, man, I know you ain't gonna give up your connect, but how your connect got like endless supply? You know, everybody I know going through a drought right now. They've been cracking down, and your guy is still good. Like, everything is still good. He was like, man, cuz when you got a good connect, it is what it is. But he just laughed at first, like I got this on lock and key. Come find out the person that was supplying him also worked for law enforcement. But that's later down the road. We'll get that one. We'll get there. So everything's going real good. And Tuck is working with him. Things making good, money's going in. So Tuck, his girl, she's getting ready to have a baby shower for one of her sisters pregnant or something. So they go over there. They go over there to the, going to her sister's house. She want to stop and get some supplies at the party store that's by her sister's house. Her sister's married. And her sister's married to a dude that lives way out in Bolingbrook, Illinois. Bolingbrook, Illinois is not that close to the west side. It's a very rich area in the suburbs. And while he's at the store, by happenstance, it just shows you how things work in mysterious ways. Tuck is out there. His baby mama goes in there. to this store to get some supplies. Right next door at the furniture store in the mall, he was like, that's Pee-wee's truck. What the hell is Pee-wee's truck doing way out in Bolingbrook? So he sees his number one lieutenant, who's supposed to be on the west side, in Bolingbrook. He's at the party store, his girl getting the supplies, and he looking like, that's my number one lieutenant's truck. I know it anywhere. He knew it. So Tuck is like sitting in the car, lowered the seat down, he's waiting to see what's finna come on. So he see the kid come out, Pee-wee girl, and Pee-wee, they get in the car. He said, babe, I'll be right back. They just came out the furniture store, and he was like, what are they doing way out here at the furniture store? And Bolingbrook. So he was gonna hit him to say, like, man, what's going on with homeboy? So he was like, man, I gotta get to a phone because I'm gonna page him. This is the time of pages, y'all. He's like, I'm gonna page him and put a code in there. And he put a code in that meant like, call me ASAP. So you see the lights come on, and dude dipped off to the side to call him and hit up the pager. And he sent the code in there like where your location. And he told me 10 minutes out the hood. I'm at my boy's spot doing this and that. He was lying. So he knew right then and there from the code and the page that came in, he wasn't where he's supposed to be. So he's following it. He gets to the location of where they go. Pee-wee goes to a house, pulls up, gets out the house. The house is nice rich house. Pee-wee goes in there, his girl go in there, kids go in there. Pee-wee's parked in the garage. He writes down the address. He wants to know who stay there. He come and find out that's Pee-wee's house. Pee-wee bought a house way out in Bolingbrook. Had been living there for months. Didn't tell nobody. So your right-hand man just picked up, moved his whole family out. Didn't tell nobody what he was doing. Why? And he hid it. Didn't even tell his boy. So now he's like, I can't trust him. So he confronted him and surprised him. Like, yo, what's up, Pee-wee? Oh, yeah, man. And, you know, he's twitching, you know, like hitting his nose. Yeah, man, yeah, man, you know, I'm just making moves out here. You know what I'm saying? I'm coming out here, I'm taking care of my auntie, she's sick. This is my auntie house, and blah, 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 blah. He's like, your auntie house? Why is it in your wife's name? Oh, my girl, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, wifey, man, yeah. Man, I put in her name, you know, my auntie can't do that, man. And he was just all over the place. So he knew he'd been getting high off the stuff. And now he's like, dude, when you start using? Man, I ain't using, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm just, you know, I'm on point, man. It's slow out here, man. You been on that soft side too much. You getting paranoid. So, needless to say, he was like, I gotta find out what's going on. So he told Dave, he said, Dave, look, I gotta go back. Things ain't right out west. Dave's like, I should be good right now. He's like, what you did for this whole month and a half, he's like, my boy finna get out on bail. You know, we finna get anger management classes and all that. We finna be good. So Val coming home, ain't gonna be no problems. So while they take off, While they take off, things are getting a little weird. Because now, what's his name ain't trusting Pee-wee, Tuck. Come to find out, he's gonna do a little sniffing and investigating and staying close to Pee-wee, trying to see what Pee-wee doing. Sure enough, Pee-wee was hanging out on Pilsen and hanging out with a bunch of white boys from Pilsen. He talked to some of the guys. He was like, yeah, dude, Pee-wee was in the car. He's like, Pilsen? What is he doing over there? So, come to find out, he's working out with some white guys. So while they're moving the diesel, things got a little particular. He didn't know none of this was going on. But Pee-wee now has been getting watched because they had already spotted and had a spy in on the situation. So the spy who was in the group that they smuggled in there, they had a snitch in the organization over there. He got Pee-wee involved, so Pee-wee got knocked for age, and he was facing 25 to 30. So they told Pee-wee to wear a wire and go around Tuck. They was like, look, Pee-wee, we need you to do that and go around Tuck and do this and that. But while they doing that, Tuck is with David saying he gotta go. He was like, my number one gotta go. And you know what I mean. He gotta go. And he's like, Dave was like, so what you gonna do? He's like, find your number two or find some other people so it don't come back to you, because you don't know how many people in your crew roll up under him that he recruited. So you might want to just don't even have that around you. You know, that's true. Because tell you right now, he ain't working alone. He ain't moving it alone. Okay, are we all here? So, while he's over there getting wired for sound, Pee-wee, who's making an agreement to turn in all this money, wear a wire, bring down Tuck in the organization, he's over there getting ready to get wired for sound. And while he's in the midst of this, activities start to build up. Because he wants David to help him out. Chuck, he was like, man, you got a guy for this? Because he's like, I don't know no outside dudes that I could trust. If an outside dude do it for me, I got to be able to trust him. And the only one I trust is you, Dave. So this is how it's going to go down. I'm going to need you to help me out. So Dave was like, all right, I'll set it up for you. I'll do it. Now, the guy that Dave used to set this stuff up, they work for law enforcement. That's how he's been getting over. Not only did the people that were supplying him, they worked for law enforcement. He also hired them to do certain things to move some crews. That's why he never got wet. Never had to get dirty. Stay low key. Now, he goes back to, proposition that they handle this problem. Into it. And they were like, cool, we finna do it. Then they found out, whoa, wait a minute, we can't do it. He's in the possession of the feds. They got him wired for sound. So they tell David, look, you need to get away from this situation because that guy's wired for sound. We don't know, like, he's cooperating. We can't get to him. So he told Tuck, it's time to cut and run. Because my guys told me that he's already working with the feds. He's been busted. You might need to cut all ties with dude ASAP. It's going down. So he was like, Dad, tell him, I don't know what he said and nothing. He gotta go. And I can't even get to his house. It's out there. See how guys want to do this. I'm paying double, triple, whatever. It's gotta go down. He gotta go. So they told him. He went back to him, said, my guy said, it's gotta be done. Any price y'all want, it's gotta be done. And he's like, you know what? Alright, we'll see what we could do. Half up front, half when it's done. They took the half up front. Messy scene. The guy was hit when he was wired for sound, wired to go out and do his whole thing, got hit in a place where they had him stashed at. So the guy got hit there. On his way somewhere, they hit him in the car. Dude's gone. Pee-wee's gone. Now the feds it's raid. So they want to do an investigation. And it's a lot of heat on the police department. So they investigate the whole crime to find out this was an inside job by a police officer. And they found out he had connections to the South Side. So IA got involved, and it opened up a lot of doors, and it broke down till they got the cops that was involved. They got the officers who was involved in this situation. Okay, I'm back. Shouldn't be buffering no more. Now, the police department don't want this kind of bad heat. But now they know about him, they know about Tuck, they know about this whole operation. Now David is in a drought. His main guys are gone. They out the game. And Javi ain't been back. So now everybody's in the drought. Evidence, they're holding on to their resources. So Vale is like, look, we got to get low. We got to get out of town. So let's go out and, deal with our family members. So Vale was like, look, I'm finna take this money. I'm finna go over here and get in this situation and do this and that. You know what I'm saying? So I'm finna go down south. I got this money. I got some millions in the bank. I'm finna go down south. We got a house that Big Ma left us when she died. So I'm gonna go down there. It's in her name still. I'm gonna go chill at that house. They ain't gonna find me. So he gone, vamped. veil is gone. Everybody's moving in on territory now. So it's like gang wars, things in the drought. So Dave know, like, I can't run. I got to stay here and make sure things is clean and running. And he looking for a new connect in the process. And just like that, boom, feds come in, they grab Tuck, they grab David, they linked them all together, they threw him a whole murder conspiracy. It was a whole big story. The cops blamed Tuck for the crime, the murder. They said this guy wanted to have it done. Tuck wanted the murder. We organized the murder and this and that. So the officers was rolling over on him and said he was the guy to do it. He ordered the hit. The guy was under him. He wanted to take him out. And David and him are both facing 20 some odd years to life in prison. And King David sitting up there like, whatever. They waving deals around like crazy. It's all speculatory. They all got lawyers. My man got the Lex bubble coming to court in a Lexus bubble going in there. They get their preliminary hearings and all this stuff. And they came out and they had videotape of Tuck doing a whole bunch of crimes. Supposedly. But they couldn't touch him. It was all circumstantial. King David, they had audio tapes on Mr. Slick, who never got caught with nothing, never had nothing going on in his life. The two officers who he was buying from and doing all that, they had videotape. They could use it as evidence and leverage to get out of trouble. So they went up with jail time. So they rolling over on King David and his operation. They got David on wiretap. They got everything. So King David is getting all these charges. Conspiracy charge, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, we got the tape, everything. So Tuck lawyer come in and they trying to slam for the murder, saying he organized the murder and this and that. They come in and said, look, you ready to go home? His lawyer's there and everything. They was like, they ready to cut a deal right now. You testify against your homie, King David, saying that he took out your number one. He wanted to take out your number one so you could work for him. You testify to that in court. We get him, he gone for life. You go home free. No charges. Murder charge, everything gone. You squeaky clean, you back. You back. You free. You walk out. But you just got to point to that guy. Suck my balls. He's like, well, that's your final answer? Suck my balls. That was his answer. So once he said that, that was it. I'm no stool pigeon, is what he said. I'm no stool pigeon. And from that point on, he did not take a deal. Now, he was right. The guy was going down anyway. We got him already. He facing 20 to life, 25 to life. We got audio. We got everything. He's going down. So, all you got to do is testify and you go home. Or you going to be facing 25 to life for the murder. Y'all going in handcuff, conspiracy deal. So, they didn't take a deal. So they was on the other side, they told David the same thing. Say that Tuck came and asked you to organize it for him. If you testify Tuck did this and this, you walk. he get 25 to life. Easy. The wiretaps, everything you got. They got you dead to rights. You facing 25 to life. It's gonna be you ain't getting out of this. They said, King David looked, said, what deal y'all give him? He was like, we ain't give him no deal. He was like, if y'all got me like this, what you got on him? Y'all ain't told me nothing. And he's like, well, we don't want to go over that, but he's going down too. Y'all both gonna be in there together. We guarantee you that. The judge is looking to slam somebody. It's gonna be a big win. He's like, well, you know what? I'm gonna testify. It was them two officers that you got in court right there. Them two. They did it. Them two officers in the court, yeah, they did it. They decided to go murder everybody on their own. They the ones who selling drugs. They the criminals. Tuck, that's a cool dude. He stand-up dude. He righteous. I ain't got nothing to say to nobody about him. He ain't testify. Said, I'll see you in court. Took the deal. Said, I'm going to take my chances in court. He was like, all right. They go into court. The lawyer took a plea. King David took a deal where it was like 20 some odd years for the drug deal. For the murder, he didn't do anything. They exposed only for the drug distribution thing. He got like 20 some odd years. And he got that reduced. Some type of time for good behavior and this and that. But he got 20 some odd years. Tuck ended up getting, they got him for some type of violation. He did like 6.5 years. He did like 10 to 6.5. He really didn't have a lot on him. But on halfway in the case, they copped a plea. Both of them took a plea deal rather than continuously going to trial. They came up with a plea deal, and that was that. They took it, and Tuck did 6.5, and King David did probably about 15 years, 15, 16 of his sentence. So King David came out. Vel was never charged. Vel went down south, stayed down south, opened up a bunch of nightclubs, lived like a king. King David came out millionaire. Millions was waiting on him. Tuck came out, went back to the streets, was killed on the west side of Chicago about 2 years later. Right after he came home, he went back in for a little bit, about 3 months, came home. And somebody who was younger and who had took in the ranks at that time ended up killing him. Unfortunately, that's how that works. And King David on the south side came home a millionaire. Kept going back and forth down south, opened up a strip club up here, had a bunch of money, one down south, one up here. He was opening them in different areas. And, you know, people started to watch his moves, watch what he had going on. He was trying to go into real estate and get himself going and open up a whole chain of strip clubs and businesses. And some people he had done business with in the past, who knew him from the past, wanted to take him out. He was getting in position. So he got, I don't know if they chased him They shot him dead in a Bentley. Drove up, smoked him in a Bentley. Shot his car up like 40, 50 times. Killed King David in his car. After he did 15, sprayed him up in a Bentley. Now he's gone. But neither one of them guys, Val is still living. He's still down south, still a multi-millionaire. As far as I know. Now, the moral to this story is they were faced with time, massive amount of time. And you know what they did? They ain't snitch. They did not snitch. They did not cooperate. They did not tell. They did not take the other man down for their own gain. And they could have went home. Both guys had deals to go home scot-free. But the other guy was going to get slammed. And they said, nah, can't do that. Can't do it. Won't do it. And that's the Chicago story. Like I told you, names have been changed. Certain situations been moved around for certain reasons. Should be obvious reasons. It's a very touchy subject. These reasons was put in place for a reason. Don't worry, once the video loads, you can go back and watch it. Hope I didn't bore you guys, but definitely if you like what you heard, donate to the page. The Cash App, $Carcino, or click the link in the description box. This just lets you know, the dope game is a temporary game. You will die, go to jail. There is no happily ever after. If you think Vale is living happily ever after, probably not. His cousin lost his life. He probably saw a lot of people lose lives. So all the money and success in the world ain't gonna bring your family members back. Or your homeboys and their families. All for a little bit of money, some fly cars, and some jewelry. It's not worth it in the end. It's not worth it. Dead or in jail. That's the results. Most have a 3 to 5 year window before they in both. So if you're thinking the dope game is the way out, better find a new. It's your boy Carcino. I'm out.